Hey, it's Monica Brown. I believe okay. Good morning, good afternoon. It's Monica Brown. I'm going live now. I'm learning this process using my computer. But what I'm going to do, I want to show you. Here's why. You want to know why? I'm here. My why. Now this my why drives me and inspires me way more than just what I'm going to talk about today. But this is 7 of my children. This is myself and my husband years ago. I just wanted to give you why, because people will why. Some are like, oh, she's intense. No, I've always been intense. I've always been directed. I've always been inspired. I mean, way back. Got my college degrees very early. Got on a track and just did it. So, wanted a big family and just did it. Adopted children from Russia, just did it. Built a business, just did it. There's an intensity about me, but then it's an inspiration. So, but this is my reason why today. Again, if I share health information with you or anything else, that's pretty much why. I want to live long and strong, and I want to die fully satisfied, and I don't want to be my own trouble. I don't want to make myself sick or cause real bad problems for myself. So I digress just now. This is not rehearsed, but I want to show you what a grievance looks like. So, first of all, with the school system here in Granbury and any independent school district around the country, you have what's called policy. And you can go to the school board on Granbury ISD school board tab and look down to policy, board policy. And so this one's called GF local, and I'm gonna show you. Can you see that? There you go. And what it means, and then there's another one. I had it here with me. I think I've misplaced it already. No, here it is. This one, GF legal. So GF legal. So when you go to the board policy, you can look up all kinds of things. And I was never interested in any of this because I was happily homeschooling over here, enjoying my American dream to the most I can. But anyway, because of the book review debacle here in Granbury that I got involved in because I said yes, I would be on that book review committee. I learned policy. I learned a lot of policy, but this one in particular relates to grievances. So what it is you can ask GISD for grievance level 1, level 2, or level 3. And usually you start at level 1, and that means you've already tried to work out your problems, but you can't, and then you bump it up. But anytime you take a grievance against a trustee or like the superintendent, it's an automatic level 3. It just goes there already. But my point being is that the legal, so the GF legal, you'll see this with almost every policy. There'll be a legal and there'll be a local. So legal is what comes down from the state of Texas to every independent school district that's around here. And it's basically the guidelines, and I believe this is from TASB. You can see this one was issued June 5th of 2024, so that's when it was updated. And there are policies called EFA and EFB, which relate to school books and resources. One of them's for resources like the library books, and one's for curriculum. So they both have guidelines, and you can go read what those are. And no, they are not complying. They are not. They're not moving it. They're moving at snail's speed when it comes to getting trashy books out of the system. But okay, so back to this. This is a grievance document that teaches you if you have a challenge, here's your protocol. So this one's called legal, and then the one local will explain even more. So you can go look those up if you want to. I will be glad to send you a link. But I do want you to know that we asked, first of all, if you have a grievance, you have to turn it in a certain time frame. Like you have to be kind of quick to get it turned in. And then it says on here that they will work with you, the administration will work with you on a reasonable time to have the hearing. So just to give you an example, in this case, we specifically asked for after 6 o'clock at night so that we could attend this meeting without my husband having to miss financial gain and work. And the same for one of our adult children. Well, she's not an adult, she's 16, but she works a job and she is going to be present. The six of my children and myself and my husband filed the grievance together. We all signed it. So anyway, that document tells you what a grievance, how a community member can grieve. If you're a parent, you get a different form. And if you're a student, you get a different form. So that lets you know that. And then there's the levels. And if they deny you at level 1, then you appeal if you want to level 2, level 3. So far, the level 3 grievances that I have seen here in Granbury in the last 3 years, they deny every one of them. And they vote against it and just go, yeah, no merit, too bad, and you're done. And that's all you did was document. But I just want to show you right here. This is Granbury ISD grievance complaint. It is a community level grievance. It's coming from the community because I don't have children in GISD. I'm only involved because I was appointed to a committee. I was asked to do work and I did it. And then unfortunately, I got thrown under the bus, and that seems to be the big deal around here, is to throw the wrong people under the bus. But anyway, I just want to show you, it's against Trustee Courtney Gore. It's harassment, slander, libel, and condonement thereof. It's a complainant from the Brown family, and it says the outcome that we want here. And we certainly don't want what happened to us to ever happen to anybody else again, and we don't want it done in front of children. So then I did an exhibit list. This is like a mini trial, only we won't have a judge. The judge will be the trustees. And so on here, just real quick, there's a letter, statement of facts. There's the actual complaint that I filled out the form, husband and children, and all signed for it. There are YouTube links so people can see some of the video documentation of what happened. A 9-page grievance to document it all. There are letters in here from precinct chairs in this community that are elected officials, as well as like our trustees are elected officials. So we have precinct chairs who have written letters of concern about what they know that happened. And then there are direct written testimony from people like my husband, myself, other people who were there with us, adults who wrote down what they saw. And again, more than once. This is not even a one-time occurrence. Okay, so in here, there's also social media snapshots and photos and pictures. So right here it says there's screenshots, there's pictures to document the harassment. There is a Hood County Sheriff's Office public information request and response because the police were called. Just stupid harassment over things that were just nothing. And so that was there's an incident report in here. There's social media posts by the campaign treasurer for Courtney Gore's campaign. This lady just went off. She is completely misinformed and has made it very, very clear. She's written letters to leaders in this community telling how she will come out against me and continue because she thinks she's right and she doesn't even know the facts. So I'm really sorry for her because she's made an absolute spectacle of herself. Anyway, there's even a thing in here that goes way back to before I was ever involved, to a trustee named Tackett. He was a trustee here, but whenever he got what he did to me, him and his wife, was post false information, but they were doing it to everybody in Granbury. They were saying that the school district was coming out against LGBTQ with this whole book review thing before I ever even got appointed, which I didn't know, and I didn't know them, and I came to know them, and they speak out about a lot of stuff. They are against Christians, they're against white people, and they call you a Christian white nationalist if you basically are a Christian and you're white and you believe in God and country. So they're really, really bad because they tell things that aren't true online, and you can just twist one thing and turn it into a big problem for a lot of people, and they personally did that for me. I don't believe that they knew what they were doing at the time, but it's caused imminent danger for my family. It's caused some really bad stuff, and I'm not even going to go into that today. But anyway, in this exhibit list, I also included past grievances because of the way they treated Karen Lowry, the way they treated Melanie Graft, and it wasn't just me. These are not my own grievances. Part of this is so thick because other people submitted their denied grievances, where the GISD denied their grievances. Like, oh, no merit, you're an idiot. I mean, they don't call you an idiot, but that's what they're saying. You have no merit. Billy Wimberly's one of them. He'll just go, no merit. Okay, anybody else want to second this? We all second it. Okay, we're done, out. And that's the end of it. Unless, of course, this goes deeper and further, which it probably will because there's a lot more that can be done. So we included some past grievances so people would understand the trail of how this happened. And while I'm here, I've got to watch my time. I'm 8 minutes in. It's a long time. But I just want you to know that we adopted children over 20 years ago. We were trying to adopt children. I've never had children removed from my family for any reason, for any abuse or anything like that, which was part of the libel and slander that was said against me. Is false information. I've also never fed my children anything that wasn't healthy. They barely ever even, I don't even take ibuprofen. We're a healthy, health conscious family. So if anything, you can get me for being like super healthy. You can do that. Okay, so this is the grievance. These are the YouTube links. I will have these with me tomorrow. There'll be 4 copies so you can see them. You can kind of catch it on. It's kind of stupid, but I'm just I felt it was important. My husband felt it was important to write all this down and to share it because we don't want this to happen to anybody else. We don't want any more of this. A community member gets on a committee and tells the truth about maybe the buses, or the truth about special ed, or the truth about the sexually explicit books in the classroom, or the truth about the administrators who know they're there and won't do anything about it and won't say anything because they don't want to lose their 6 figures. And we've got a few of those. So anyway, so there's what it looks like. Level. I had to say level 1, but because it was against a trustee, it immediately goes to level 3. So that one is, it's in here. It's 9 pages, front and back. And what it does, it documents the ethics that the school board is supposed to operate under, and also several other things, but just absolutely documenting it. Here's the signatures of myself and my family down to my 6-year-old. And then there are letters here, like I said, from elected officials, people who were publicly, some of them present. And then there's a documented letter by Courtney Gore's treasurer, where she's writing to people talking about how she's going to do whatever it takes to disparage me. And so I'm going to put a stop to that. And by the way, if anybody's watching this and you keep saying I did something to my children I did not do, especially the food idea, I'm going to take it to court. I'm all done. I'm all done. So here's a testimony letter. Here's another testimony letter. This was a gal I met for the very first time. We were working together. Okay, her letter. This is her letter of everything that happened where I was harassed, sexual harassment, screeching, screaming in front of my children. And the reason why she did that is because she didn't know that my daughter had a camera turned on and was getting all of it. At the very end, she walks toward the camera, sees it, and then all of a sudden she has self-control. And she stops. But that didn't stop her from continuously going on and doing more. And one of the things they did was they would turn radios on with sexually explicit songs and play them and turn it toward me and my children. So, you know, I can handle hearing whatsoever, but that's pretty stupid and low and mean. And Courtney Gore sat through 2 hours of it one Sunday. So anyway, these letters are here. These YouTubes are here so people can see what little bit was documented that way. Like I said, the letter that the campaign treasurer, Lacey Cherie, wrote to let everyone know how awful she intends to be to me until she figures out she has whatever justice she wants. This is a shirt she has that she actually printed a shirt saying she's saving children from being beat with PVC pipes and fed dog feces because she thinks that's what I do to my kids. Never did, never have. And I'm sorry that she is that kind of person, that she put it on a shirt and go around doing that. Another campaign volunteer, this is another one. She's been especially vile to me. These are posts online where I posted, and then she jumped on and said I was feeding marijuana to my children and pot more than once, that I drugged them, okay? And I've never taken marijuana, never taken pot, never smoked a cigarette, no desire to. I'm a health enthusiast, and I'm not into CBD either, so I'm just not. Anyway, so then here's the whole sheriff form, okay? So this is where I had to ask for the record because the sheriff came out to the election tents to deal with me because I was supposedly out of control doing the wrong thing, and I was not. Even one of our commissioners, which is Jack Wilson, was taking pictures of me like I'm doing something wrong. And I tried to walk over and say, hey, y'all, do you see the line goes this way? It's a curve. On my end, I can be right here and I'm okay. On your end, they run together. And that's when the lady started shrieking at me and shaking and violently just, Wah! And she was just going crazy. Sorry, I shouldn't do that. I tell my kids, don't show me how they did it. I don't need to know. But anyway, you can just see Hood County Sheriff's Office. It's all documented here. And again, if you told me 10 years ago this would be part of my life, I'd just laugh and say, no way. Okay, let me get through that real quick. This is going to probably be, I don't know, 13, 15, 20 minutes, hopefully. But I want you to have a chance. Here's another one. Tina Brown, same thing, calls me a part of an extremist group. Now, I beg to differ. And if you run around today claiming I'm a nationalist, I'm an extremist, or whatever, you are endangering my life. Because there are people out there who are wacko crazy, who think, oh, extremists, I'll just deal with that. No, and I do pray for protection. I'm not too worried about it. But the point is, if you don't like what I'm saying about a candidate, why don't you just say what you like about your candidate? Why don't you talk about issues instead of calling me an extremist? And another person, Paula McDonald, former trustee, business owner here in town, former school teacher, for goodness sake, Christian Bible study teacher. She posts on Facebook a picture, here she is, and with her grandson. Starts making fun of me because I had a situation where my jaw swelled up really bad and I was still out there, but she was making fun of me, saying I was vile and had said all these vile things. Well, she was a trustee when I was on the book review committee, and she never answered any of my emails where I sent her documentation about the bad books. She told me personally she couldn't read them. And I went, okay. How can you be a trustee and not read it? How can you not look at the material and judge it? And she has she has a THD. So she's the one who got in trouble for calling herself a PhD when it was a THD. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me. I would have voted for her and respected her had she done something about the problem. She knew about it. And here she is on Facebook, social media, libel, slander, harassment, because she didn't like it that I was promoting other candidates for the school board. Anyway, so again, it happened another day. Here's another letter from a completely different volunteer. Here's another letter from a completely different volunteer. Okay. And then this is to remind you, if you read this, about the Tackett family. You want to look him up, Chris Tackett. You can see what kind of person he is. Him and his wife. They think all of us voted for Trump because we are, wacko, and we don't know what we're talking about. And we've been indoctrinated, which of course I beg to differ. But that's what they want to say. And then here are pictures of the Gore campaign taking pictures of my children when we asked them, please don't put cameras on my children. So that was a child that took this picture, by the way, of them taking pictures of the children. Okay, here's another one where we happened on the very last day of election to have a tent right next to the people. That person over there in the blue lifting the drink up to their face is Courtney Gore. Well, she told me, hey, I'm sorry for what happened. I said, great. She goes, I want to apologize to your children. I said, okay, they're not here. This day, she was with them all throughout the day and never apologized once, never made any attempt. So I don't really believe that apology. I did it first, and I hoped for it, and I hoped it would be changed, but the actual activity and behavior did not support her mouth. That one moment when she went, I'm sorry. I'm like, okay, I hear you. I appreciate that. People make mistakes. I've made mistakes. Anyway, this is the library investigation report, and this will let you see, this links back to articles so you can see what Deputy Constable Scott London went through and what he documented. I want to show you this picture right here. This is the top half of a book called Gone. This is documented. Here's the back of it. Oops, sorry, I'm not doing such a good job there. Okay. This book was on display in the Granbury Public School Library in the high school. It was on the bookshelf, like right there, where you could just walk by and go, well, what's that? And it's Gone, a teacher and a student crossing the line. Well, they made my oldest son think this book didn't even exist, but it did. Here's the picture the constable took. I had already told the school about it. I already took pictures of it, and I sent it to them. I said, this is in the library right now. You know what they did? Nothing. They left it there. So when the constable came by, he found it on the same bookshelf it was on display, along with other sexually explicit books. This is about a teacher and a minor. So that's completely illegal, irresponsible, and terrible. And the librarian was there for 18 years. Here's Daughters Unto Devils, Court of Mist and Fury. None of these are LGBTQ books. All of these have to do with a variety of ways to be sexually explicit. I'll just put it like that. And there's more, but I'm not going to keep boring you with that. So I just want you to see the actual constable report is in here. And then it just goes on. There's grievances from myself and my husband, and also from, okay, real quick. This would be, okay, here it is. So I don't know if y'all remember the purple shirts, but this is Mr. Yarborough, who is an elected official. He's being censored by the Republican Party. And I'm going to turn this off real quick. Okay, he's being censored because he sued the Republican Party. But long before that, there he is. And if you see him here, here's another one of those campaign volunteers right there that have been, who spread slander and libel and things like that online. But that shirt is where our former superintendent was so bullying and so harsh and so mean to a sitting trustee. And then a shirt was made, and our superintendent never apologized, never recounted, and then guys like this decided they'd make shirts and sell them. So that's no good. And then in here, I documented the whole book review committee and what the governor asked me to look up and what he asked me to do. Here it talks about the obligation to determine the extent to which these materials exist or should be in the school, and if they're sexually explicit or not. This is a letter to the Commissioner Mike Morath. It's all in here so you can see. Here's another community grievance. It was another family that witnessed the things that go on here in Granbury. And then I think I'm at the very end. Let me just show you. Okay. This is where I was asking the sitting superintendent right now, the interim superintendent, about this November 18th. If you go look at their agenda right now, it says that there's a special education matter community grievance. So I didn't know that was my situation. I thought it was a special ed grievance. Well, it wasn't. It's just the way they worded it. It's right there. Let's see. See? They put a comma, special education. And they should have said later in this same document, they put special education and a community grievance. So I think she's been getting phone calls about why are people calling it a community grievance? Well, because you guys did that on your own agenda. But also I said, I would like to meet and go through this, but what the requirement is that we said first, there is a conflict of interest involved with these trustees. For sure, Courtney Gore shouldn't sit on it, and I understand she's not going to. But trustees Barbara Townsend, Nancy Alana, Billy Wimberly, and Mike Moore have all been strongly involved in Courtney Gore's campaign, and they're aware of what has been going on. So I don't think any of them should judge this, but they will. That's what they're doing tomorrow. I don't think they have the ability to, or the it's ethical for them to step down and give this to maybe another trustee in Godly or somewhere, get a whole bunch of trustees to come in and review this. But all of them shouldn't be serving, but they're going to do it anyway, and this is what they do. This is what they've done in the past. And then we asked for oral presentations. Could we please have the chance in this grievance to give an oral presentation? But Nancy Alana is the deciding factor, and she already decided, no, you cannot have an oral presentation. You come in. They might let us have about 5 minutes in closed session to say something. They won't respond back to us, and they will then send us out, and then they'll talk for however long they talk. Then they'll come out and they'll vote it down, most likely. If they do something different, it'll be an absolute miracle. Okay, and then I got a little person back here. And the last thing is, two things. We asked, would you please have this meeting after 6 at night, because my husband works, my daughter works, and we don't want to take off work, and we have community members who want to come and be at least present. And they refused. They didn't even try. And so that is part of their policy, but they ignore it, and they ignore it with everybody. And they say, well, we just do grievances at 8 a.m. So again, that isn't, okay, I need you to step down. Okay, and she's my why. She's the reason why. She was one of the children that was, that all this was done in front of multiple times. And I'll just say, she just now stepped into the room. And then we asked for unmerited speech limitations. That's the oral arguments that Miss Alana said no. And she didn't say why. She just said, no, you can't give any presentation. You cannot give any oral argument. I don't want to hear you. So what's happened is people have signed up, and I don't know how many, it doesn't matter to me. My husband and I both have signed up to speak, and we're going to push back, and we're going to speak up, and we're going to say, we think campaigns for the future should be run on facts and policy and things like that. And so if I make a mistake and I start out saying something and it's incorrect and someone tells me, in every instance I fix that. There was like 2. And so I get that because, oh, wait, that's not correct. And I have had people who I know and trust who've told me things that later I said, wait, show me the documentation. And in one case in particular, it wasn't correct. They were not correct. They were saying something. So I learned my lesson there, but I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be perfect, but I am going to continue talking. And here's what I said. This community are going to stand on facts. We're supportive of the right to speak and speak freely, especially related to political speech. And we don't want people harming children or families or community members. We're not in favor of anyone screeching or screaming in front of anyone. We're not in favor of any harassment or bullying, and especially sexual harassment, which I have experienced. And also, we want people to, if possible, myself included, to openly discuss voting records of elected officials. And if they lean liberal, which Courtney Gore does, we're going to say that. And then if they lean conservative, we're going to say that. So I just want to let you know that gives you 23 minutes. I know it's long. I don't know how to do this on the short version. I guess I could have, done a better job. But I want you to know, and I'm hopeful and prayerful that this will be resolved in the morning to some degree. And then if needed, I'll take it further up the line. I don't know. I don't really mind who needs to know, because I do not want this ever to happen again. And way back, I literally had strangers coming and banging on my door a couple of times, at least once, when two of my children were home alone. And I did not appreciate that at all. I'm not going to sit down and take that lightly. So anyway, all good. I'm looking forward to the future, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow being over. And thank you so much for your prayers and your time trying to understand. Okay. All right. We'll talk with you later. Thanks a lot. Okay. I think we're still on when it keeps going.